Hey folks, Heather McLaren here with Long Realty in Tucson, Arizona for your 5 at 5. Today's topic is what cash do I need to bring in if I'm in a real estate transaction in Arizona? What kind of dough am I going to have to cough up is a question I get all the time from my clients. And if you guys recall, last week, buyers had all these great outs when they get to go into a real estate transaction because they're kind of going into unknown territory, and sellers didn't have quite as many options to get out once they're in a deal. Well, the tables are flipped today, folks, because sellers can get away with selling a house without having to cough up any cash. But buyers, you're going to have to come in with possibly up to 5 different types of cash when you're in the purchasing process. It can be less, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, maybe even less. So we're going to go over that today, but we're talking in general. And while we're reviewing this topic, we are on week 3 of our tour around Tucson Mountain Park on the west side. It is out Speedway as you're heading out of town to Saguaro National Monument West, the Arizona Sonora Desert Museum, Old Tucson Studios. It's a beautiful drive. I hope you enjoy some of it. While we are going over the ways you're going to need to cough up cash when you're in a real estate transaction in Arizona. So as I said, sellers, you can usually get away if you have a great professional who can get you in touch with some contractors without having to cough up any dough when you're selling your house. The real estate professional, the title folks, everyone is happy to wait and take it out of your proceeds so it doesn't cost you any cash at the end. And the nice thing about that is in most instances, if it doesn't close, you usually don't owe anybody anything. Sometimes you do. You want to read those contracts well, but most of the time you don't. But the one person you are going to have to pay if it falls through, but they're usually happy to wait until closing, is if you have to get repairs with third-party contractors like that your buyers requested. So they request some repairs after inspections and you've hired some folks to do it, and your real estate professional should be able to help you find, hopefully, vendors that don't mind waiting a couple weeks to be paid at escrow, which means at closing out of the proceeds so you don't have to pay for the cash up front. Not always the situation, but lots of times you can find that so you can sell your house without having to pay any money up front in an ideal situation. So buyers, oh man, okay, right? Is it tons of money? No, not necessarily tons of money. Let's go over the 5 different types of cash you might need to come up with when you're buying a house in Arizona. Number 1, earnest money. Right? It goes in with your offer. It's to say you're serious to the seller. I'm going to pay you 1 to 2% of the purchase price or a number of my choosing, but 1 to 2% is average. And I'm going to ask you to take this home off the market for 10 days or more and let me inspect it and see if I want to buy it. That 1 to 2% is going to be held by the title company, and you can get it back, like we talked about last week, at various junctures if the house doesn't work for you. But if you move forward, it is going to just go towards your down payment and come off your down payment. Number 2, we always advise people to get third-party inspections on a house. Now, if you don't want to do that, you won't have a number 2 cash. But if you do, and I strongly advise you to get third-party inspections, the fee for those will vary depending on the type and size of the home you're buying. Please consult your real estate professional. Usually starts around $500 to $600 for the smallest house and kind of goes up, but it really depends on your situation. Number 3, loan closing costs, right? You got to pay those wonderful folks that are helping you get this loan. Now, if they are selling off your loan to a bank or something when you're done, that mortgage fee, the interest fee that you're paying, your 4% APR that you're paying over the next 30 years or however long it takes you to pay off the house, that is going to pay for that institution to service your loan. But when you originate a loan, you have to pay those folks to get you the loan in the first place. So there's some fees involved in that, as well as credit check fees and appraisal fees. And then, of course, this rolls in number 4, the title company is going to charge you fees to turn, the house over into your name and research the title and make sure it's all clear and all kinds of title stuff to make sure you get a good, clear title on the house. And number 3 and 4, they all wrap together, and you can get a quote on what those are before you even offer on a house from your lender. They're called closing costs. That includes all the loan fees and the title fees and everything. So your realtor can advise you on earnest money, and you can decide what you want to put in. Number 1, number 2, inspections your realtor can advise you on before you even offer. 3 and 4, your lender can advise you on before you even offer. And then number 5, you'll figure that out with your lender. Down payment. This depends on your type of loan, right? It could be as little as 3.5% if you have a conventional or an FHA. If you're on a cool down payment assistance grant program, it could be nothing. If you're a VA, it could be nothing. You might even get your earnest money back at closing if you don't have a down payment. So you can see how these fees vary a lot for your specific situation. So ask good questions, buyers, before you make an offer from your real estate and lending professionals, so you know what kind of cash you're going to need to bring in a real estate transaction in Arizona. I hope you've enjoyed the scenery. Have a great week out there in the Tucson housing market. Please subscribe to not miss future episodes. Please comment on questions you want to see answered. And as always, I'm here for you if you have any questions between now and next week. Have a great week, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.